Welcome to Marsha's Plate, a Black trans-inclusive feminist podcast. A place where we know that not everybody is invited to the cookout. And we also know that every single day is a brand new day, and we have the power to make a difference today. So let's do this.
It's a new day, brand new day, make it better than yesterday. You can always find a way to turn it all around again. It's a new day, brand new day, make it better than yesterday. You can always find a way to start over again. Tuesday, when the sun rises, you can start over again. A new day, you can make it better than yesterday. It's a new day, it's a new day, new day. There's a way you can turn it around. Trust me, there's a way out. There's more time. Just don't give up. When the sun rises on a new day, you got another chance. Yeah, 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 yeah. A new day, you got another chance.
If you want to join the conversation, you can hashtag Marsha's Plate. You can follow us on most social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. Just search for Marsha's Plate, MARSHASPLATE. Y'all ready? Let's get started. Hey, what's up?
What's going on, honey?
Hey y'all.
Oh, it's been a while. The white on white crime is rampant. People are getting murked. I want to have a serious conversation because we're in a boiling pot where the heat is, people are getting murdered. Like it's political assassinations, it's political dyings going on. And now for us as Black people, we've experienced that. Like that's not nothing new that we haven't experienced in our culture. I also think that any cop killing of a Black person is political violence. Everything is fucking political, and we have been dealing with our people being murdered on our side for biases and blah 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 blah, for things that they say, things that they do. We're used to that, and so y'all are getting a taste of what we experience in our life. I've experienced a lot in my life as a 40-something-year-old. I've experienced multiple political violent situations that I've had to grapple with. So I want to start there. But because we're in this place in our culture where it is, people were calling for a civil war. People were calling to be more violent, and it because of, based on what they're saying and the rhetoric that they are using, particularly on this podcast. We are trans people. They literally, before they knew that the killer was a white, even more right-wing white man, they were saying that it was trans people, lying. Like literally the police officer had to come out and say, no, there wasn't no cartridge that said trans stuff. No, there had nothing to do with trans people. Now they're saying, even claiming that his roommate was a trans person. So because of this, them trying to make this a trans thing with lies, and just, even though it is one of their own, it is quite easy for those radical people to switch their ire and be violent towards us. So we have to be conscious of where it is going. We are going in a direction that will lead them to harming one of our leaders, that's harming us. And to me personally, it is not going to be bold. Just like he snuck and did the sniper route of getting Charlie Kirk, this is what they do. Even when they had the full scope of power, they were in hoods and riding horses. When the Klan was out here terrorizing people,
They
terrorizing
lit-
black people.
they literally in mass now, girl.
Right, they're in mass. They're going to do sneaky ass shit. Remember in Austin in 2018 when they were sending bombs to people's house? They're going to do sneaky shit. They're not going to do, that's not their MO. In the whole time in this country when white terrorism is, they bomb buildings. They do sneaky stuff. They don't do stuff in your face and directly at you. So we have to be diligent in regards to being safe and taking shit seriously because they are turning up the heat and they're going to be doing sneaky ass shit. So I'm worried about our big black convenings, big LGBT convenings, big trans convenings. I am worried about those things because these are the type of things that radical motherfuckers who are intensely trying to do some type of political violence, that is where they're going to hit us. It's going to be sneaky. It is not going to be upfront. We're not going to know what's happening.
Yes, and make sure you pay attention to your local elections, because the other way they're doing this, we more, in my opinion, I feel like we're more in danger as black people than we are as trans people in this moment because of the assault on black people overall, all the cuts that are about to happen to Medicaid, the PrEP clinics, the PEP,
not
all
just
that
that.
shit.
I don't agree with that at all. I think as a trans person,
They're not sending the military to Chicago. They're gonna send them to these to Memphis. They're sending them to where most black people live, which is down south, with Republican governors who are like, cool. So like we got to take it seriously, not just as trans people, but also specifically as black people.
Yeah, I think we just have two different mentalities. First of all, I can't take away my black or transness.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying,
but
and also it's both fronts they coming at.
But as a trans person, I'm a black trans person. But my transness allows for cisgender black people not to care about me. At least a black person, other cis Christians, other cis people, other cis women will care about a black person, something happening to a black person. But I think my transness as a black person allows people to be indifferent and not care because of my transness. I think that there's a tons of people who are going to relate to you because you're black, but as soon as my trans identity come into intersect with my blackness, they won't give a fuck about anything happening.
And that's where my ministry comes in, right? Because if there's folks that's like that are willing to have a conversation, that's where my ministry comes in, to talk to those black people that are open to that conversation, to understand that they on some fuck shit with these white people if they're coming after fucking trans people. There are people who, like the people you're talking about, Diamond, but I don't think that's everybody. I know that's not everybody.
I feel like we wasting time going back and forth because it's a double whammy. We got it for being black, we got it for being trans. At the end of the day, one of the reasons that I can't truly celebrate and truly be happy about this Charlie Kirk murder is the fact that I am somebody else who speaks my truth online, and a lot of people hate me.
Yes, and it could lead to somebody harming you in that situation. And it's a situation for me where I'm seeing it in real time. I had a cousin of mine who posted this. She's a churchy person, and she posted this before they knew that it was a white man. She posted this thing that was so anti-trans, and I had to go under a comment. We're not friends now. We deleted each other. But I had to post a comment. I was like, this is so ignorant and unsafe. Y'all are sitting here you sharing rhetoric about anti-trans rhetoric that can lead to my harm. And I'm the closest. This white man that died wouldn't piss on you if you was on fire. And he has gotten you sharing anti-trans rhetoric, and I'm your family. Like, you literally are sharing something that could lead to my harm, and I'm the one who would step up and help you because you my fucking cousin. I would be the one that if you were harmed, I would be the one to donate to your funeral, help you cook at the repast. I would be the one sitting there in caring and crying about you dying, not fucking Charlie Kirk. And you sharing something that can lead to my harm, and you are my family? The fuck are you doing? And she deleted me because I said it was fucking ignorant and stupid. He wouldn't piss on you. He literally said you don't have the brain processing power to do any fucking thing. and you
He
fucking
lit-
sharing shit.
He literally said if he see your black ass flying the plane, he's getting the fuck off.
And because y'all share fake Christian religious self-righteousness, you wanted to share this bullshit that can lead to my harm? Fuck you. And that's what I mean. It doesn't, I don't think, I'm not like you in that regards, Jay. I don't think that it's not the majority. I think it's the majority of motherfuckers that won't fuck with us. I don't. Is there some? I don't think it's all. No, I'm
I
not thinking
agree. I
absolute.
agree.
I
The
think it's a
majority of niggas,
majority.
the
Hold on.
majority of niggas,
Yes.
the majority of niggas don't fuck with us. The
Let me put
majority
some
of
more.
niggas don't fuck with no trannies.
Let me put some more context on that too. Let me put some more context on that too. What I'm saying is, when they bring the military in to Memphis, they're not gonna they're gonna fuck with black people, period. They're not gonna be like, are you trans? They might not even know your ass is trans. They're gonna fuck with black people. And that's my point. And it's an opportunity to have a conversation with people in our fucking community, because the reason they're using trans people as a scapegoat so they can bring the fucking military into Memphis and lock niggas up. So we got to draw the connection, how, because if I could do it to them, I can do it to you. That's why they used us, because we were easy fucking fodder as trans people to start the shit, because the goal is to roll all this shit from the civil rights shit. That's the goal. That's why you're right. We're in the bullseye as black trans people. Specifically, we're at bullseye because we're the fodder, and we're the bullseye because the goal too is to take us out as black people.
The way I see
opportunity, because shit is starting to get real for a lot of black people, for cis black people. You see the pastors are finally starting to come out and be like, this is some bullshit. Just like you had pastors on fuck shit saying, whatever your cousin and all this shit about Charlie Kirk. You also had a lot of black pastors who've been very fucking vocal and were like, I ain't down with this shit. The Bible don't say nothing about celebrating fucking evil. The Bible don't say nothing about that. We gotta take this shit seriously. Like,
but they the same motherfuckers. They the same motherfuckers still debating about whether they'll let a gay man on their motherfucking clergy.
Or a woman.
These nigga pastors.
All of them?
Yes, they literally went by. They literally not all of them, but they literally just had a roundtable recently in the black religious community where this conversation shouldn't even be coming up in 2025 in the black church. No shade.
But look, I agree 1,000 and bajillion%. But I think it's an opportunity for us to talk about coalition politics, because that's how you get things done. We don't have to agree on fucking 98% of the shit. We need to agree on the 2 or the 1. And that's how we fucking leverage our shit. And like, I'm not saying because I'm just saying there's an opportunity. It doesn't mean everybody. I'm not saying there aren't people on fuck shit, but there's also people who aren't on fuck shit, just like during slavery. Not all the white people were down with it. They weren't. No, you actually had white people that were like, I'm not down with fucking slavery. I'm actually going to risk my life for the shit. And you have white people who were like, I'm not going to risk my life, but I'm going to let somebody stay up here for Underground Railroad. That's all I'm saying, is that there's some opportunities, because shit is getting real, to educate people in our community about the connection and like why it's fucked up to be targeting trans people, not being transphobic, but just like not everybody even what am I trying to say? I'm not trying to say like, oh, now you should give a fuck because you getting targeted, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying like ignorance is some real shit, is all I'm saying. So a lot of people don't get to have a conversation. And for folks who have capacity, or people at organizations where the fuck you live, because everybody live in the same place, but shit looks like it's different. Out here, it seems to be way more trans inclusive and talking about trans people in cis black heterosexual spaces in a way that I ain't seen. Okay, but that's here. That's not where you're at. That's not where you're at. Or maybe it is for one institution or one random ass church. Who knows? But all I'm saying is it's not all, the rest of all black people don't get it.
I think you're just giving a testimony. I think you just giving a testimony as you do, which I'm not mad at. I don't think it's a bad thing. But I think yet again you're giving a testimony to why Marsha's Plate exists and why all 3 of our black asses get up on this podcast every week. I don't think we have to keep repeating that to the people. The people who want to hear us and the people who are willing to be educated will hear us. We're never going to leave those people behind. We don't have to break shit down to those cisgender people. We don't have to tell them that they're not transphobic if they know that they're not transphobic. We don't have to have people open to we don't have to convince people to be open to education when they're open to education. But realistically, being and I'm sure me and Diamond's perspective is different because we both get niggas in our comments who go against us literally when we be trying to save niggas. So no, I'm not spending no whole bunch of my time trying to convince niggas that my voice is worth hearing. I'm just gonna spread my voice, honey, and the niggas that's gonna come, and the ones that ain't. And that's something that I'm honestly, Jay, I don't think about, don't give a fuck about at all.
And when I'm talking about safety, when I'm talking about safety and I'm talking about life or death and I'm talking about people defending me, I'm to the point now that I don't have time to figure out how far on the fence you're at. When we're talking about my safety and death and where motherfuckers is trying to bullhorns in the community, bullhorn people who are literally out here fighting the fight, who are on TV, who are literally trying to educate. I don't right now in this and I'm talking about the heating dynamics of political violence. I'm not talking about 5, 10 years ago where it was like, yo, we can be out here, ain't nobody got assassinated, da da da. I'm talking about right now in this moment where motherfuckers is killing niggas publicly and shooting them, whether they deserve it or not. Because just like that can happen to him, shit can happen to us. And so, right, in that regards, I don't have time in person and on the ground to figure out where motherfuckers is at right now. I am not in that mode. I am in where I want to keep myself safe. I am in the mode of I think all these motherfuckers is against us, and I'm saying all as in being extreme hyperbole. Of course, I know there's allies, and people know, but I'm saying I think I'm closing myself off with trying to work with motherfuckers. If you the reach across the aisle and teach, I'm out of that motherfucking realm now. Right now, in this mode, because I don't feel safe. I feel like this man is the fucking president went on this fucking show and said, like, literally is lying. They're literally making it seem like it is us when it literally is a white man killing a white man. And all their talking points is about hating us. That type of shit leads people. I have unfollowed and blocked so many people this week, that I didn't know was against me. So that's what I mean. There are people who are out here who could be radicalized to harm us, and I'm no longer in education mode. Yes, I'm gonna do the show, but I'm no longer doing that.
Hold on, and let me be clear. When I said that's my mission, I mean everybody has a brick, right? Everybody has a brick to bring. Everybody don't do the same shit. I just meant in a more like formal matter. Like that is in a formal matter. Like you said, we do have allies. That's all I'm saying is just like we do have people that fuck with us. It's not everybody. Do what you gotta do. I'm not engaging with people who are like fuck trans people. What I'm saying is there are some spaces where that work is happening. That's really what I mean. I don't mean like that's what you should be doing or Bree should be doing, or even that work should happen online. I'm just saying that work is happening. It should happen more. That's all I'm saying. It's a piece of the puzzle. We all are got pieces of the puzzle. And all I'm suggesting is that is one piece of the puzzle, and that we should not say that piece doesn't exist because it cuts off an opportunity. That's all I'm saying. And it might not be the piece that you put into the puzzle, but it is a piece, and it's an important piece. That's all I'm saying.
At this point where I'm at with it is my priority are Black trans people. That's it. My priority are Black trans people. I'm always gonna support and try to fight for marginalized communities when possible, but my priority is Black trans people, and I only have but so much emotional energy.
Where I'm at now is telling people who are in my community, if you see me, if you connect with me as a trans person, if you connect with me as a Black person, if you connect with me as a woman, However, your connection to me and you feel that I am a part of your community because of those identities that we share, whether we share multiple or we don't share multiple, whatever that is to you, I want you to know that you need to be diligent about your fucking safety. You need to be diligent about your safety now because shit is rearing up. Shit is, and whether that, and I don't know what that means for you. I don't know your particular situation. Whether that means move, whether that means get a gun, whether that means get a dog, whatever it means for you when it comes to be diligent about your get a ring light. Maybe it's time you got a ring light and you need this up that subscription. Whatever, I don't know. Whatever it is for you that is being diligent about your safety, cutting people off, whatever it is. I need you to be diligent about your safety. There literally is a boy. His name is Trey. That literally was found hanging in Mississippi. And as I said earlier, they're going to do sneaky ass shit. They're going to be doing things that are sneaky. So be paying attention. His name is Trey Reed. Look him up. Look, nobody's talking about it because we're too busy talking about other political violence, but that are popular. But Trey Reed, tons of people around the country is being found hanging from trees. Tons of people are coming up missing. Black girls, they've been coming up missing. But even more in certain areas, we really have to be diligent about paying attention to our surroundings and our safety. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say um uh listen, I'm shifting how I work and shifting. It's not that I'm stopping working. It's just how I work. I'm done with reaching across the aisle with motherfuckers for me.
We out here, like you said, Diamond. Like we're out here at risk. We're more vulnerable than everybody else. Like we need support, and so from people who say they are allies. Let me just be clear. I'm not saying folks that trying to convince, but like anyway. I just was really in his ass about the threats that we're under and the safety concerns that are very fucking real, and if you are in these spaces and you know other people in those spaces around civil rights and all that kind of shit, I need you to be talking to them about us. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it's just real.
So yeah, as an ally, as somebody who was in our community, a comrade, a co-conspirator, however you want to, name it. It is time that we have to really, really solidify our focus. And however you need to do that, that keeps you safe, let us know. How are you figuring this shit out? We are just figuring it out. We are trying to navigate this in the same way you are. We out here. We are, we're in a different political time than we have ever been in when it comes to my life, your life, everybody. So how are you navigating this space? What do you think about what we have talked about so far? Let us know. Hashtag Marsha's Plate.
Hashtag MARSHASPLATE.
Oh my God, I want to thank all of our new patrons this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay, 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 yay. So not only are you helping to sustain this particular podcast, I also donate to other podcasts. I donate to other organizations. I have my finger on the pulse of the community. And I know a lot of grassroots organizations that are doing great work out here. So you're not only helping to sustain us, you're helping to sustain other people in a community. Because I put my money where my mouth is. That's just the kind of bitch I am. Community is fuck. So thank you. I really, really appreciate you. And if you have not become a patron, why have you not? You can donate as low as $1 a month. It doesn't matter. Anything helps. Please. Do I have to play Sarah McLachlan and show you puppies? Like, what do I have to do? Do I have to resort to what the white people do to get you to give them money? All righty. Anyway, thank y'all. And the Patreon and PayPal link is at the bottom. Back to the show.
All right. So I want to talk about a concept. I've been hearing this But because of current events, it has come to public discourse, and I kind of want to explain it a little bit more. So, have y'all heard of transmaxing?
No.
You never heard of it? Have you, Jay?
I just heard about it today.
Oh,
Not just right now, but like literally earlier today. I was like, transmaxing.
It sound
correct.
like trans people wearing a maxi pad.
No. So transmaxing is it's offensive. Well, yeah, it's offensive, but it's an offensive term, and it is a term that originated in the online incel communities. Incel is involuntary celibate communities. So this is, those the men who can't get no pussy, they lonely, they're going more right, they're conservative because they're finding communities in these really, really hateful spaces because they can't seem to get their shit together and learn how to actually engage with people that they are attracted to. So they go into these kind of incel communities and it just leads to hateful stuff. Tyler Robinson. So, um, the term transmaxing refers to the idea that a man should transition to be a woman to gain perceived social benefits, such as having more success in dating. This term is not accepted by mainstream society or transgender community. So this is not something from us. Like I said, this is something from the incel community. Those red pill men, red pill dudes, and this is something that promotes harmful transphobic narratives. But I just want to give y'all so when y'all see this,
The bullshit, huh? The
just like
bullshit,
just
huh?
like Jay just said, he just started seeing about it this week. So you're gonna see this. So I want to give y'all context of where it comes from. So of course, I just said that the origins of it's from transphobic users, and this is like it came from like online boards and forums, and it's been around for several years. I used to follow somebody. I'm back in the day. I used to follow people just to learn about what they're talking about on the opposite side of the fence. And this is how I learned about this particular narrative. I remember I used to follow this dude named the Sandman. And he followed like MGTOW, which is men going their own way, which is a sector of these incel people who are like, I'm not trying to get a wife, I'm not trying to be married, I'm just going to be alone, and da 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 da. Anyway, so I start seeing trans because I'm trans. This subject piqued my interest, and so I started seeing it on forums. I started seeing different people in these kind of far conservative spaces talk about this particular thing. So I saw it and I was like, oh, this is so ridiculous, and so um what of course we know what trans means. So I want to talk about the maxing part. So transmaxing. So maxing is a slang word that is means, and it's like suggesting a strategic kind of decision to um to do something to get a better outcome. So, for example, geomaxing would be moving to overseas to improve your dating prospects. So, maxing is like, oh, it's a strategy to get a better life. And so they say
So
geomasking. So, past
essentially, trans people transition to get a better life, like
right.
that.
And
Yeah.
so people would move to Thailand and ooh, this is a better life. The hood equivalent is the passport bros. They're going to other countries and trying to get better quality of women because they have made women in their home seem so bad. The image of us seems so bad. Oh, they're horrible. They're trash. They're not feminine. Da 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 da. So they are geo maxing by going to other countries to find other women, which is crazy.
So
Anyway,
I think if I'm understanding the vernacular properly, it's like maximizing, like geo
yes,
maximizing.
that's what
So
it's
it's
from.
like
Yes,
trans maximizing, like trans maxing. I'm trans maximizing. I'm maximizing on my transness, honey. I'm gonna get the best out of this motherfucker. That
because wait. Let me finish explaining. I'm gonna ask you some questions. Yes, so they feel like if you want to, it's not logical, y'all. You got to understand. Just like racism is illogical, this shit is not logical. I just
The
want you
fact
to understand where it's from.
whenever anyone has to over explain anything, it means it really makes no fucking sense. So I'm having to tell you so much for it to make just a little bit of sense.
Yeah, I want you to understand their mindsets. So it's not a genuine reason to transition. It is dangerously transphobic, and we just talked about Bree just talked about a person who is navigating weird identity things that had to detransition. This is the type of shit that will lead somebody to be like, maybe I should try. If you are have that mentality to be fucking silly and be a sheep and not make decisions for yourself, you could be over here in the right wing and saying, oh my God, I feel so lonely. So maybe I need to become trans to get these benefits from being a woman. This is what they're saying that transmaxing is. Now, these transphobic talking points and misrepresentation of transgender identity, they're doing this for political and social purposes. Like, it is not something that trans people actually, you not gaining anything. I have been trans for fucking the whole time, these fucking 30 years, acknowledging that I'm trans, and it had not opened doors for me. I'm not getting treated better. I actually have gotten treated worse because I'm trans in situations. So this is not true. But people are saying that they're doing this in order to get privileges of women. The first thing is that there is not any privileges of being a woman in regards to this patriarchal world, unless you are putting yourself in a situation where you are living the life as the perfect woman. That means being skinny, being white, being blonde, being beautiful, being submissive, being all the stereotypical things that you're supposed to be as a woman in a patriarchal world. Then you will get the benefit of being whatever comes with that. There will be some things that come with it, but the idea that they're thinking is that there are no benefits to being a man and all the benefits to being a woman. So transition so that you can get those benefits. It's bullshit, it's whack, and it's corny. So, right now, what I want to know is, what are y'all thoughts about transmaxing and how this type of ideology is going to affect us in this time now?
Okay, let me first address the thoughts because they're running rampant. Bitch, y'all know I'm psychotic. Bitch, all of the thoughts is going all at once. Bitch, they screaming in one ear, honey. First and foremost, none of this makes any fucking sense because any decision that anybody makes, they're under the assumption that it's going to maximize their fucking life, unless you're a fucking sadist, honey, and you just want to create chaos and anarchy, or you just want to have like, who the fuck wants to have a trash life? Number one, nobody transitions with the mind frame that oh, this is going to hurt or hinder my life, except for the trans people who are genuinely trans. And after we transition, we realized that no, being trans did not help my quality of life. I've had to deal with issues with my fucking family. I've had to deal with issues walking outside in the street. I've had to deal with issues just on a medical. I have to deal with the issue number one that without medical intervention, I wasn't happy, me personally as a trans person. Without medical intervention, I wasn't happy with what I saw in the mirror. Number motherfucking one. Like it just none of it make I can't conceptualize it because none of it makes fucking sense. Like
Wait. I want to be very clear to people who are listening what Bree is expressing, because I agree. And because what I just said, there is some negative things that my transness brought me. But on the inside, how I wanted to present to the world, me, whatever sacrifices that come with me living my life the way I want to live it, however that goes, it was worth it to me. Is there some negative shit that comes? Absolutely. But I'm navigating the world the way I want to look, the way I
My
want to
first
feel.
Diamond and everybody listening, my first time, I will never forget my first time walking out of my house in my neighborhood that I grew up in, intentionally presenting as a woman, intentionally presenting with the attempt to pass for a female. I will never forget that moment because before it took so much courage for me to walk out that door because I knew that this was a life-changing experience that was going to lower my fucking quality of life because I grew up in a transphobic society. Like, what the fuck are you people saying? And
But
what is the benefit?
explain to them how that was worth it though. I need them to understand that yes, it brought negative, but what was the good side of your transition, of you living in your truth?
Every moment for everybody who follows me and listens to this podcast, every moment that you laugh at me, every moment that you smile with me, every moment that I make you feel something, every moment that it's obvious that I'm feeling something, is because I'm present, because I took the courage to transition and dress the way I want, call myself what I want, present the way that I want, and I felt comfortable. I was in a place where I was literally on the verge of being a schizophrenic. I'm legitimately not psychotic at all. I don't hallucinate. I'm not delusional, but I was disassociating, beginning to build different personalities in my mind because I ran away from being a feminine being who was seen in the world as a feminine being because I wanted to fit society's constructs of being a boy, of being male, because it was easier for me to not be trans. And even now, as a psychologist, with the successes that I've had, being a voice for my community, I would still have an easier life if I were cisgender. Like transmaxing for me is maximizing on the happiness and the awareness I'm able to feel and experience day to day because no longer give a fuck what people think about the way that I look, the way that I dress. I no longer give a fuck what people think about me jiggling my titties and being secure in my body. I no longer give a fuck that there are people who think that I should be shot in the street just because I'm feminine and was born with a penis. I've gotten to a place where I don't give a fuck because it's just me. It's not even about being happy about it. This is just who I am. This is just me not trying to be somebody else. That's it.
What
That's
about you,
all.
Jay? What are your thoughts on transmaxing?
One of the first things that comes to mind is that they're not transitioning. These are people that are simply having surgery because they're, like to me, I'm not even going to, dignify with calling it transitioning. Also, it's one of them things when, you have a lot of money and some white people with a lot of money and time, because it takes intention. Like, it's not easy to get access to care for a lot of people. So, like, these are people that got the time and got the money. And it sounds like it's just clearly it's just an exercise. It's some bullshit. It's bullshit. Think about my personal transition too. Like, it's almost 15 years to the day next month that since I started medically transitioning. And, before I decided to do that, it was like scared straight or quote unquote or whatever. Like, they were like, yo, you're going to take this hormone and you're not going to be able to control what the fuck it does. And so you're just going to have to fucking eat it. Like, you're going to have to eat it. Like, you're going to have to be okay with what this means for you and how shit is going to change. And it's going to change and life is going to be more difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like, way more difficult. And and it was like, I was out here like, I am a black woman who is gay. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was moving. And even with that, like you, Bree, like, it was very difficult because I didn't feel like I could fully express who I was. And I got a lot of scrutiny around my masculinity and how I was dressed and all that kind of stuff on a regular basis. A lot of emotional manipulation around that shit and just a lot of scrutiny. Even to the point where it's like, oh, I'm in the hospital. It's like, why are you dressed like a boy in the hospital? I'm in the hospital. And that's the first thing is, why are you dressed like a boy? Not, are you okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? That's some real shit. And so, but with that, not knowing what the fuck you're walking into, in my case, in terms of, with medical, and just even reflecting, like I said, almost being 15 years, it's like, on those days where I'm feeling super low, in those moments where I'm like, shit is fucked up, feeling depressed, suicidal thoughts, all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like when shit is like deep and heavy, I gotta remind myself too. It's like, I didn't transition to be fucking depressed. I transitioned to live my life. It gives me a pickup. You know what I'm saying? A pick me up. Cause it's like, I did this shit so I could move forward with my fucking life. I didn't do this shit to stay stuck. You know what I'm saying? I could have stayed stuck on that way. You know what I'm saying? And, I will say I'm grateful for some of the shit, even though it's very different. And I feel like, since gay people don't get it, I am grateful for like the way that I was in community before I transitioned, and how that was very intentional. But it's like, all the people that transition, that support didn't stick. It was early, oh, you're transitioning. Hey, okay. So, but what does it mean to actually support trans people? It doesn't mean that you support a trans person and you're like, oh, okay, you changed your name. Oh, now you look different. We're done. You did it. No, that is not what the fuck it means to support trans people. So anyway, it's not easy. It can be a very isolating experience. But in those moments, I try to remind myself, like, I got to engage, I got to connect, because I did this shit so I could live a more full fucking life. And I do have a more full fucking life, a more difficult fucking life, you know what I'm saying, with different challenges, but it is a fuller life. And at the end of the day, all of it is centered because of the fucking shit coming up with this shit around being secure in our culture as Black people, and who I am as a person of African descent who was here by force and trying to live.
Hear you say this, Jay.
Proud of
I
being
can't.
Black is proud of being trans for me.
I feel listening to you, and it's making me reflect on what I was saying and the mood that was kind of set on what I said. And I hate the fact that it feels like we're defending our identity. I fucking hate that. And that's one of the things that I'm fucking tired of. When I said before that I'm focused on talking to Black trans people, I'm always going to have a voice for anybody who listens. But I'm focused right now on talking to Black trans people because I'm done defending my motherfucking identity. I ain't got the energy no more. I don't.
And I totally understand that. I don't feel like I'm necessarily defending it, not in this moment, not because this is a safe place where I don't feel like I'm defending it. I feel like I am just explaining the nuances of my life. And for me, as a trans woman who transitioned early, it was about me being, like Bree said, in the same, I don't want to have to pretend to be something that I'm not. I don't want to have to pretend to be masculine. I don't want to have to pretend whatever the preset default that a man, boy, whatever it's supposed to be. I was not fucking comfortable with that shit as coming. There was some natural things happening to me, and I decided to live my life that I felt comfortable. And so, was there going to be some negative things? People bullying me, people trying to throw hot water on me, boiling hot water in college, people not wanting me to live in my apartment complex. Is there some negative things that happens? Absolutely. But that does not outweigh me living my truth and navigating the world as who I am on my own terms. I will deal with all the outside negative because the inside is not negative at all. The inside of me, the center of who I am, is me. I am not who you see before you is somebody that I created on my fucking own with the help of my community that loves me and wants me to be who I am. And that includes cisgender people, trans people, gay people, all the people that throughout my life that said we fuck with Diamond, how Diamond is. That's my community. And so who you see is the culmination of me bringing that forward and people loving me enough to grow and be who I am right in this moment. And so I'm explaining that because somebody who is lost out in the world looking for community, looking for perks, looking for, oh, I want to be treated like da 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 da. Somebody who is lost, that is being influenced by these negative right wing people, if they are transitioning because of that, because of somebody said that, oh, I can get more perks as a woman, that is, to me, that is not an authentic transition. That is somebody just being led like a sheep into something that they don't understand. That is not who I am. That is not what I do. So I'm explaining it because I want you to understand the difference. I didn't become trans because somebody led me to be trans. I didn't become trans because I wanted the perks of how patriarchy works for women. Because I never, based on my black ass mama, patriarchy never worked for her. It never worked for her. There was no perks. Women was getting beat. In my position as being born in this earth as a boy, boy was the best. Women were getting beat up. There was no perks in me coming a fucking girl. It was negative. Girls was getting molested, raped, beat up, blah blah blah. There was negative to be a girl.
Boys were allowed to be sexually free, and you know what I mean. I don't, Diamond. What are the perks? What are the perks?
Wait. So I grew up in church. They were grooming me. Because I was bright and I could talk. They were grooming me to be this fucking churchy prodigy type of motherfucker. They were grooming me for the spoils of patriarchy. They were grooming me to be a boy because being a girl, I saw girls having to sit down. They couldn't go out to play. They couldn't do a motherfucking thing. They couldn't get dirty because girls couldn't get dirty. Girls couldn't do all this kind of stuff. There was all kinds of negatives to being a girl. And a boy, they were free. They were able to run the streets. Not saying that some girls didn't have to run the streets, but I'm just saying, boy, that it was just so many
look at the
perks in being a
perception of the
boy.
girls who did run the streets. Look at the perception that we were taught about girls who did run the street.
Right. So I wasn't becoming a girl for the benefits. And then when I did transition, nigga wasn't treating me like a cisgender girl. They were trying to sneak and have me at 2:00 in the morning. There weren't no fucking perks to being a woman. It was negative. They were fucking trying to fight me. They were fucking trying to sneak and have me. Nobody was loving me openly and loving anything about me. That if they was trying to have sex with me, it was to objectify me, to just get a nut off. There wasn't anything positive about being a girl other than me actually being able to just be myself.
Yeah.
Being a boy was the default sickening thing to be when I was growing up in my culture. Being a boy was, you had perks. It wasn't being a girl. So me being a girl was actually stepping, I don't want to say it wasn't literally stepping down, but it was stepping into a place that could bring a lot of negative to you, especially as a girl and as a trans girl.
Girl, honey, socially stepping down. Honey, I'll the fuck say it. For me, I saw it as it was socially stepping down. And I had people close to me even questioning, why do you want to transition full-time as a girl when you can still maintain your male fucking privilege if you're a drag queen?
Yo, same questions on why the fuck would you want to step down in your life from my family member? You know,
hold
why
on,
would
let me say this real quick, Jack. This is obviously a white incel talking point. Like, this is clearly somebody who watches trans porn because they're under the impression that, oh, we just magically become trannies and you could just build a whole porn career because that's all they know about trans.
Talk about it.
That's all they know about trans women. That has to be their perspective because that's all they know about trans women. And most trans women who are financially successful do at some point build a financial base, if nothing more, off of sex work. They know us through sex work. They know us through porn. And you think that this is a fucking advantage? Only a fucking white man would think that you have an advantage by having sex for money. Because they are the motherfuckers who are paying us to have sex for money. Because they are the motherfuckers who put so much in this concept of sex that they're willing to pay for it because they already put so much in the concept of money. So they're thinking money and sex. And for a lot of these men, these incels, some of them have money, many of them don't, but none of them have sex. So for people like us who have access to sex, you probably can't really conceptualize it. But these motherfuckers think that because they can go on Twitter and see us bust it open, that that's somehow an advantage. It has to be. Because
Okay.
anybody with any other common sense knows that being trans is a disadvantage in from being cis. And being a woman is a disadvantage from being a man.
Jay, what was you about to say?
I was just gonna say, yeah. Similar, just like no, it wasn't a step up to transition. And definitely heard the same language, like you said, Bree, where it was like, why would you want to do this? Why would you want to fuck up your life? Why would you want to, why would it's like, yes, growing up and being navigating as a black girl and black woman, you dealing with all this shit. But just as we do as black people overall, you also, because you're growing up in it, you have all these other coping mechanisms and systems to take care of yourself that are, you know what I'm saying, a sisterhood or what have you. And so, when I still came up in an era where we still kind of had rites of passage, double dutch and popping gum and, with the girls coming in the room when the baby being born that are more so connected to our ways of knowing as black people, as African people, than it is to their patriarchal shit, even though some of that shit overlaps. You feel me? And so, like, to transition, man, I'm going to have to exit out of the thing that is safe. The only thing I know that's safe, because that's all I know that's safe. I wasn't moving as a black man. I wasn't even like a stud or someone being, misgender, you know what I'm saying? Or people being like, I think, that wasn't happening on a regular basis to me. So it definitely was like, why would you opt out of the support system that you took all this time to build? That you came out at 15 and you're figuring it out and doing all the work that we all got to do as trans people again, then you know what I'm saying? Trying to get some stability with other black queer people and what only maybe a couple trans folks, and we all like, yeah, we trying to have, and it was this kind of conversation we were having then. You know what I'm saying? In 2005, in 2001, just trying to figure it out, right? Trying to figure it out because I didn't go through all this, the coming out as gay part, already to that part. Like, I didn't have a housing situation about being trans, but I definitely had one about being a fucking lesbian and had the roommate that was like gonna kill you in your fucking sleep, and you sleeping in the room with no fucking door because you're a fucking dyke, bulldagger bitch. Yeah, so yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, fuck, I didn't go through all that. Did transition to go through some, like, no, I'm here to like live my fucking life. Like, that's a lot of shit. It's a lot. Ain't nobody signing up for no bullshit. Everybody's just trying to live their life fully and fucking freely. That's fucking it. And this transmaxing shit is crazy. And it's crazy. I was gonna say not crazy. No, it's fucking crazy, and it's not a real thing. And you gotta have money and time for that kind of shit. That's the other part, right? So it's not even like just like a white people thing. It's like it's a class thing too. It's a white people with money and fucking time thing to even make it a fucking thing. And there's gonna be a whole bunch of other shit that's gonna be dropping between now and in the midterms and then 2028. That's gonna be like, what are we pushing? Apathy, distraction. Remember that shit, because we still have the reins in our elections. So use them while you got them. Overwhelm them while we can, because they can't be overwhelmed. They just want people to sit the fuck at home. So, like, yeah, I think this is a part of that, though. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, this is definitely, like y'all were saying, this is definitely a part of that. The right wing, a part of their broader strategy around getting people to talk about some shit that's not real, like you said, right? And then be like, see the trans shit and bullshit. Bullshit.
So I love that you brought that nuance, that transmasculine nuance, because I've heard that before from other transmasculine people about losing that kind of community, that black woman, black girl community, and knowing that, and me as a trans feminine person, when I thought about it, I remember how my queerness at the time, when I was younger, because I transitioned so young, it kind of took my access. Now, of course, my mother had the access because she was a cisgender woman, but when I transitioned, I never had access to that community because I was such a queer woman. I was trans, and so I didn't have access to that unless it was through my proximity to my mom. You get what I'm saying? I learned how to survive through that proximity, and so I think as I got older and more passable, and the privilege of passing, as I got older, I started to have a better connection with cisgender women. I had a better connection with that kind of community that you discussed because my transness wasn't as obvious, and I was able to almost like get that community connection. Now, when my chi was out, no, it still was harming me. But I do know that Black girl community is a survival tool for us because of the harm that comes from society. So for us, that is kind of a perk.
I just want to also add, like, when I came out as gay, that access to a lot of that village of these older women, that became more cut off because
Right.
at that time, it was a different era. My mom was
Your
cool with
queerness.
being trans, but at that time in the 90s, she was like, had a little cornrows, and then down in the back era, she was not having that. And so all these people that, like from church, and I went to, as y'all know, I went to a church at that era I shared was like pretty progressive, pretty, at that time. Like, we didn't talk about gay people. We just didn't talk about gay people. When gay people was there, we didn't talk about them, right? But unless it was to do something. But my mom felt some kind of way, right? And what's cool, I'm grateful, is that later down the line, my mom told the church about my transition, and that village is still there. And I've been able, over the years after my mother passed, because usually, that's how I go, I've been able to build some of those relationships on my own terms as an adult, but also since transitioning. Not with everybody, but I'm just grateful for that. But I lost that contact, that support. That was like a big ass support system of all kinds of Black women, all kinds of, it was very, it was fucked up. Yeah, I was in high school, so it was just kind of like, oh shit, well, I'm kind of out here, I have to figure out some shit on my own, I wasn't getting that. Anyway, I was just saying I can relate to what you were saying about kind of getting cut off.
Okay.
And what, hold on, please. What advantage do they think that we have in fucking dating them? Honey, I didn't dated maggots before, and the incel boys and shit like that, honey. And I end up having to expose you motherfuckers because y'all is crazy and dangerous to my motherfucking community. Y'all have mental health issues, bitch, and y'all have access to guns. No, I always end up exposing you crazy motherfucking crackers. And I'm about to expose another one. Honey, Johnny, big booty Johnny. Yeah, I dated his ass, and he out here crying about Charlie Kirk. Girls in the Baltimore area, stay away from big boy, white boy Johnny, J-Lo, honey. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm exposing them on my shit, but I ain't going to expose them fully on here because I don't want to cause no legal issues with Marsha's plate. But bitch, honey, big booty Johnny, stay away from his ass for you be the fuck shot, bitch, honey.
So let us know what y'all think about this transmaxing concept. It's crazy. It's not real. It's bullshit. These motherfuckers need therapy and help. That's what it is. We all do, but but they need to get a grip. But let us know what y'all think about the transmaxing shit. Yeah. Hashtag Marsha's plate.
Honey, y'all know the hashtag MARSHASPLATE.
So I was listening to this video by this person, Marie Daniel Favors, who does a show on Sirius XM, and she does clips from the show every day, and she talks about how things going on in the world today relate to Black folks through like a lens of like race, legal shit, politics, and law, how all these things kind of come together, social justice come together around us. And so, anyway, she was talking about, all the goings on with the Kirk situation. But one of the things that she did highlight was talking about how there's like a white male culture, and how sometimes, not sometimes, we already know this, how we need to check in with our people and check in with us on how we reinforce that white male culture that's about dominance, that's about, violence and being an aggressor, that shuns, crying, that shuns being emotional, things like that. But like we should create an experience, what you say, create space for men to experience the fullness of their emotion, because when you're not allowed to do so from a young age, or young in your, and then for me, I put, or young in your transition, which is a normal human reaction without being called a punk ass bitch, then you also miss out on the important skill set of learning what it is to have introspection, to think about what you've done and feel shame without feeling motivated to violence. We think we are immune from what they do in their communities, happen with, and denial about suicide in the Black community and the increase. Like we have to talk about some of the stuff that's happening in our communities. I thought that was interesting topic. Initially, I want to talk about like, how do y'all think like that shows up in our community? I definitely know I see that happen for trans men and trans masculine people, like kind of mimicking some of this stuff, but also people being like trying to reinforce that and expect that from me and other people anyway. But more so, I think really, anyway, I nerded out. I didn't take my Adderall today. I apologized. I nerded out and got to this place around this called the conceptualized triple quandary theory. That how we kind of take in things. There's the double consciousness, W.E.B. Du Bois, how we look at things through the double consciousness. We gotta look at it, general America. Oh, Selena, and then we got in Selena where they're like, we got to know the white people shit and our shit, kind of thing, right? And so they said for the conceptualize of the triple quandary theory around like Black culture, there's the mainstream part, which is like the mainstream culture is very individualistic and competitive, and that's their beliefs and values. Like that's the dominant like white American cultural values. And then there's the second part is what people are having like this quote minority experience, and the coping strategies and defense mechanisms that we develop to respond to the oppression and social impact, social structure. And then there's also our own, like our Afro-cultural, our own unique experience that we have that's outside of that. And when we think about like all the shit that we getting fed, like we just talked about the transmaxing, and just like we get exposed to a lot of shit. Like, how do y'all sort through those different layers of like, I'm taking this in through my like mainstream white people kind of Americana lens, and that's how they talk about it, or I'm taking it in just through my like Black people lens, or I'm taking it in and looking at it also how it impacts these structures. So, for example, I'll be like, oh, I'm Sweet Home Alabama. That's a jam, but when I look at it through the mainstream shit, it's like, oh, that's a jam. I just take it for face value. Through the how this shit impacts me, oh, Leonard Skinner, Confederate flags, don't feel too good. Through Afro-American lens, is like that's not even really actually too relevant. It's it comes back to blues and jazz, our history. Yeah, because that's how we, people pick it up. So that's just my example of like how you're kind of juggling these different value sets. Like there's the values we have as us in our community, the values that American people have that sometimes we kind of pick up and we put down, and then what have you. I don't know. So what are your does that make sense? Okay, so what are your thoughts on like how, especially in a time where we're just overwhelmed with so much media, like how do you negotiate those lenses? Like what lens are you receiving it, and kind of, you know what I mean?
Honey, unlike W.E.B. Du Bois, honey, I didn't grow up in the area, or I didn't grow up in an era, or I didn't grow up in a time, or I didn't grow up in a place where my Blackness police in that way. So I never disassociated it personally. in my personal life, honey. The only way, and I think that's what makes my voice. I think that what makes my voice unique. Because I know that I'm perceiving everything from the lens of me being black and trans at the same motherfucking time. I know that I'm perceiving things based on my own experience as a black person and a trans person, as my previous experiences and as in identifying as a gay boy as well. You know what I mean? I know that I'm seeing things from all of those lenses simultaneously, and I accept it. I mean, for me to navigate it though, I've learned to code switch, professionally. The only time I really police my own blackness or transness or the perspective of um is in professional settings, is literally when I'm being paid to prioritize other people's feelings more than mine. So that's a way that I navigate it. Another thing that has, and that's actually been my flaw in being a content creator, is that a lot of times I don't know how to turn it off. You know what I mean? I've had to essentially learn how to play the game. I've had to learn how to be a salesperson in order to successfully try and make a career out of social media. I had to, there are certain things about me that I stifle, and there are certain things about me that I exaggerate. Um, because I know that my lens and my perspective is different than others. And I know that there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be outraged or offended or feel attacked based on things that I say and feel naturally.
The triple quandary framework is by A. Wade Boykin, and it is three reams to negotiate. Black individuals must learn to negotiate and balance their experiences within three distinct and often conflicting realms. One is mainstream American values, the dominant cultural values and beliefs of the broader society that's more like individualistic and stuff. Two, the Black cultural values, the unique cultural heritage and traditions of the Black community. And then three, the experience of being minoritized, the psychological and social realities of experiencing racism, prejudice, and discrimination.
Yeah, again, because of all three of those,
Mm-hmm.
being aware of all of that, being aware of my Black American perspective, being aware of my American perspective, and being aware of my perspective based on oppression. I know it's a lot
Wait,
of that, right.
with social media content, how do you apply? How does that apply to what you give time to, or amplify? Like, how do you discern which shit is like bullshit, and you're just like, that is some bullshit for you, or shit that, you know what I mean? Like, how does that play out for you in terms of what you put energy towards or not put towards when it comes to content? Because I'm asking that because we're gonna get, and it's gonna be an avalanche of more it's gonna be overwhelming with more shit of like, ooh,
I
this thing,
mean,
this thing.
I mean, again, that's where I have fucked up. You know what I mean? I'm such an eclectic person in so many ways, you know. And coming on social media and like blowing up overnight on TikTok. I didn't know the formula. I genuinely didn't know what it was that people liked about me. I didn't know um because I know that my perspective is skewed, and I never gave a fuck. Like I essentially, with social media, I've had to learn to give a fuck. And I've had to learn to give a fuck what people think, because I my voice started to matter more because there's literally more people listening to me. And you know, like Charlie Kirk, I should be aware of the things that I say and how they affect other people. So that's my when it comes to social media content, um, I've honestly just start to steer away from things that I have a negative perspective about, unless I genuinely think it's a necessary message for people in my community. Like, if I got a negative perspective of a Glorilla song, I'm gonna keep that to myself. I don't need to put that on my timeline. For example, to give you an example of things that I prioritize, but my negative viewpoints and perspectives of politics that affect Black, trans, or any other marginalized people, I do share that. I do prioritize that. That's gonna get attention on my feed before anything in entertainment.
What about you, Diamond? How do those three perspectives play a role in like what you kind of put energy into, or amplify, or how it even impacts you, like you pay it no mind, like yeah.
The first thing that come to mind when you start talking about like the American, like being an American, um, there is like the analogy that I give, and I started to have this when I'm like when I started traveling outside of America, when I started engaging with people and their opinions about Americans in general, particularly Black Americans, like when I started engaging with people who are of African descent that come over here and they have this particular perspective of Black Americans, Caribbean people, that kind of diaspora wars kind of situation. When I started to engage with that, it's kind of like the analogy that I can kind of give how I think about it. You know how like you got your grandma and she go to church, right? You got your grandma and she when y'all at church, the way she act at church is not how she act at home. And the real motherfucker at home, she'll cuss you out, she'll whoop you, she'll hit you, she might drop a drink down the throat. She might, hit a little bit of gin or something. Who she is at church ain't necessarily who she is. A different perspective of her, and it's not necessarily that she don't believe in God. She might be, she might be really a Christian, or she just, just a human. So she's not perfect. She's not living a perfect Christian life, but it. The people at church don't know it, but it. That's kind of like how I feel as a Black American with America. I know the perspective that America want to give. I know the ideal that they want to sell to the world. I know the ideal that they want to. This is the land of the free. This is a melting pot. This is the great American dream, and all the bullshit that America sells you. I know that exists, and I know what they're trying to sell. But as a Black motherfucking American in this motherfucker, I know the real you. I know the real shit. I know really what's going on because I live it. My ancestors live it. My people live it right now. And so I know the nuances because I live in this motherfucker. I live in the house with my grandma. I know this bitch sip on a little gin. I know this bitch will cut you out. I know this bitch is selling food stamps. I know this bitch is hustling too. Maybe selling some of her little her little Vicodin to make a little money. She hustling. She ain't just following the fucking rules because I see it. I see the nuances of her existence. So that's how I feel as American. It's like I know I feel like an American. I feel like I'm a part of this country. I'm invested in being a part of this country. I feel like that. But I also know the nuances that be from a perspective that other people don't get. So I simultaneously live in that reality where I know who the fuck my grandma is. But I'm in the house with my grandma. You know what I'm saying? She's still my grandma. I'm still a part of her community. I ain't gonna be snitching on her. I still have a loyalty to her, to this household. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not about to go to the fucking schoolhouse and be snitching on her and stitching on shit that she said that she doing wrong because I don't want to get taken away from my fucking grandma. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the analogy that I'm kind of giving when it comes to America, how I feel about America. I am an American, but I know this bitch is fucked up. And I know she trying to be right. And I'm trying to push her, and I ain't gonna embarrass her at the church house by calling her out about some of the shit that she do at home. But when we at home, when I become an adult, I'm gonna call you out, bitch. This shit is fake. You being fake. I know you sipping on that gin. I know there's gin in there. You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I think about that. My other point that you made me think about, at the end of the day, I want to be a good person as I navigate the world. I want to be a good person. At the end of the day, I want to navigate this world in a way that doesn't harm people. Do I know every motherfucking thing? No. Do I have blind spots? Absolutely. I don't know every fucking thing. So there's gonna be some shit that I may be doing that's problematic to disabled people. There may be some shit that I'm doing that's problematic to a dark skinned person. There's some shit I might have some privileges that I just don't know about. But I want to be a good person. So therefore, when I learn and get new information and get new perspectives and get people's their perspective, when I learn it, I want to move through the world with that information better. I so when I so yes, I have all these colored lenses that I'm navigating the world, but the main lens that I'm looking through is the lens for me to try my best to be a good person. So how am I navigating homelessness? How am I navigating capitalism? How am I navigating sexism? How am I navigating misogyny? Where does that show up in my life? Where does colorism show up in my life? Where does classism show up in my life? All these things. I'm not going to know every fucking thing about those systems, but my goal is to be better every single fucking day. And that's the lens that I'm trying to look through. Do I fail sometimes? Of course. But over time, I get better and better and better with seeing those nuances and not having to put on different hats. I can have the same hat on because I'm getting better and learning from how I'm navigating the world. So for me, yes, I have these moments where, I only can look at it from this lens because I have a blind spot. But because I am an ever evolving person, I change and I get better with new information. So that's how I look about it. That's how I think about it. About even the double consciousness. I know back then it was double because we was fucking serious black and white shit. But we have all these nuances in intersectionality and all these things around our identity. So I have multiple identities that I can pull from, and I think that is a perk. I think all the hats that I can put on is a perk in how I navigate the world. And so, yeah, I want to be a good person. So I try to be better with and cause as less harm as I possibly can. So that's the lens that I'm always that's the safe lens that I'm gonna try to always go from.
Can I add something? Because as you were talking, as you were talking, and I heard the similarities in what we said, and it just made me be able to make what I was saying. I thought of a sentence to kind of put a period on what I was saying before you started talking. And also, Jay, I've learned to censor myself because I know that my perspective can be extreme and radical because of my experiences with racism, because of my experiences with transphobia and things like that. So I'm more aware of essentially hurting other people's feelings. And that's what I mean by play the game. I have to play the game as in, Bree, you attract more people to loving you with sugar than you do with vinegar. And when I realized that I have offended people unintentionally, I am learning to correct that. Honestly, for me, when we talk about being triggered, Jay, when I'm triggered, that's when I know it's something that I need to pay attention to. When I'm triggered, that's when I know it's something I need to research. When I'm triggered, that's when I know I need to get the full story. And then based on my response to that, I'll use my platform accordingly. And again, honestly, the biggest thing that I've learned is I just stay away from entertainment because it makes my negative opinion about entertainers because it makes people divisive for no reason when I got important shit to talk about that might divide people.
I mean, even like outside of your platform, just like in your regular life, that's what I mean. Just like in your day to day, how do you kind of make those choices?
I
It would be
again, I act off of being triggered. If I'm triggered, I'm going to move forward. If I'm triggered, I might cut you off. If I'm triggered, I might unfollow you. Taking it off the internet. If I'm triggered by my mother, I ain't gonna talk to you for a couple of days. You know what I mean? If I'm triggered by what's going on in the news, I'm gonna take a break. After I say what I said, like I've taken a break from the news since Charlie Kirk, honestly.
mm. What about you, Diamond?
As far as social media, um, I don't consume one type of media. Like I am constantly watching shows, I'm constantly reading books, I'm constantly listening to audiobooks, I'm constantly listening to podcasts, I am constantly reading articles. I'm literally actively going to lectures at colleges, the ones that are open that you can just go to. I'm going to educational events. I literally search like on Facebook or on Eventbrite for events in my area that's going on, all kinds of stuff that's going on. So when I see because social media is not all that I am consuming, I don't feel like I don't feel like it's something that I need to navigate in the sense like prop like issues in regards to it. I don't know. It just doesn't feel the way people talk about it and being in these kind of like bubbles or algorithms. I intentionally go search for content that is not like mine. That I intentionally go and see other people's perspective. I intentionally go. Am I going to agree with that shit? No. Am I? But I need to learn about it. I need to learn about. I'm just what other people's views are. So I'm just not always how social media works. It's not just an immediate like a triggering thing for me sometimes. It's just like, oh, I'm learning something new. Like when I saw the transmaxing thing, I was this is maybe like because I'm trans and I've been creating trans media since fucking 2008. Because I was doing that, and creating content around it, I was in places learning about how people were talking about transness. And so that well, transmaxing was something that I saw early on. And so, but I needed to learn about it because just like the Bible, kind of like go back to the granny churchy analogy. If you're gonna weaponize this Bible against me, I need to know what the fuck is in there. And so, have I read the Bible? Absolutely. Do I believe every motherfucking thing in it? No, but I need to know about it, and that's how I feel about social media. Sometimes I'll run across stuff or run across people's opinion. I'm not just running with, even if I like them, I'm not just running and believing everything. When you bring up some concepts or subjects that comes up, I'm gonna go do some deep dives on it. Oh, let me hear about this. Oh, like you just gave. Of course I knew about double consciousness, but the word you just said, you said quandry. What do you call it?
It's called triple quandry theory.
That
Yeah.
that language, I don't know that. So
I
I'm
was gonna put that too.
when we get off this call, I'm gonna go do a deep dive on triple quandary. Da, 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 da. I'm gonna do that. And so when I learn new things, I go do a deep dive and add it to my analysis or use my current analysis to explain it. Like what I already know, what I have already know. How does this play into what I already do? And so for me, that's how I navigate all social media, all not just social media, but all media that I get. How is this book that I'm reading that's giving me new information? How is it applying to my life? How is it applying to the perspective that I know right now? And so, yeah, that's just what I do. I'm not like I'm not somebody. I don't want to say I'm not, I think my transness kind of put me in this kind of situation where I'm not somebody that you can just piss on my ear and tell me it's rain and I not turn my head and be like, bitch, what's this wet shit on my fucking ear? Is that piss? Like, I'm somebody who is, I am a lifelong studious person. I question every motherfucking thing. And it doesn't mean that, especially if I don't know about it. Like if I know it, I'm gonna say, bam, I know this. But if I don't know about it, I'm okay. And I don't feel um any kind of like punch to my ego when I don't know something. If I don't know something, I don't know it, and I can go learn about it. And I think that sets me up for success and not to be susceptible to people just fucking telling me shit and I'm just running with it. I go and look shit up and apply it to my life.
Word. Well, shoot, let us know what y'all think. about this triple quandry theory, and how you navigate social media through these different lenses. Um, it's funny too. I'm just thinking about what we were talking about earlier. It's like talking about what's your ministry. Like that is not my ministry on social media to have too much. Like I can deep dive in person and have through a conversation, but it's harder for me. Like I don't that my capacity is limited in that way, where it's like that shit gets overwhelming for me. I'm like, what the fuck? So it's kind of funny because it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you can handle it. Y'all both can handle it on social media. I cannot. I can handle it in a contained, you know what I'm saying, control situation for those conversations. But that's so funny. But yeah, let us know what y'all think. Hit us up, hashtag Marsha's Plate, Bree. Break it down for the folks.
Hashtag MARSHASPLATE.
Gimme euphoria, more than peace of mind. It's the joy and space to change the tide. Gimme euphoria, more than peace of mind. It's the joy and space to change the tide. Gimme you. It's a feeling and a high you never come down from. Whoa.
What is bringing y'all Euphoria this week?
Okay, not perfect, but I'll take good. And I like good. Seeing a lot of black pastors light that ass up when it came to white supremacy and white Christian nationalism and calling out these fake ass Christians, excuse my language, Lord, who are saying they're doing Christianity in the name of their white Christian nationalism and trying to do all this crazy ass shit and hurt people and harm people because God ain't about that and Jesus ain't about that. So it's great to see multiple black pastors keep it, getting 100. Even one person was like, I'm scared. They talked about the HBCU fucking bomb threats and all that kind of shit. So even though nobody wants negative shit to be going down, but sometimes, it's agitation that gets people engaged. So I'm hoping that this will lead to a more engaged black church. And I'm talking not, I hate gay people and trans people, black church, but folks that's like, we fuck with black people trying to do shit, black church. So that's exciting because we haven't seen that in a while. A lot of, when you think back in the day, the type of bullshit, this open attack on black people that we're dealing with, we would have saw probably more press statements and conferences from the NAACP or other, you think about that back in the day, we don't see that in the same way. And so it's exciting to see people starting to use their platforms to call this shit out and activate their congregations because they got a lot of people that they can activate at one time. So that is bringing me euphoria.
You're gonna see this clash a lot of times with white nationalists, white Christian nationalists, with black nationalism, because going back to like Cotton Mather's, it's like a old fucking white man in church. He made a connection between Christianity and whiteness by portraying like the Puritan white people. This was in North England, like this is like when the colonies was happening. He literally connected that white people were the divine chosen people, the people of God, and associated non-white people like African Americans and Native Americans with barbarism, and being the devil and being of the devil. And
Mm-hmm.
it's something. So there was, but because of what was going on in the world, black people were always had a different perspective, a nuance, a queer perspective of religion that went against that. So that's something that was common. So anyway, I just wanted to add that because I think
no. Yeah, you could take the African out of Africa, but you can't take the African, the Africa out the African.
Mhm.
You ain't gonna do that. And so we might have to gumbo it up and mix it up with some things. We're gonna be us.
Yeah.
But yes, that's been really exciting. I'm excited to have that conversation. Because we go back to slave Bibles and all that other random ass bullshit. Absolutely the fuck not. So that is exciting. Because it's our time. We got to step up. So what about you, Bree? What's bringing you euphoria this week? Black Power, y'all.
Trigger warning. At points during me expressing my euphoria, my voice may get so high that you may not be able to register it through the speakers. Baby, I'm feeling euphoric, number one, because I can use my kitchen sink. For over the past week, I couldn't use my kitchen sink or my washing machine or my dryer because the plumbing in this house is at least 100 years old, honey. The shit is probably rusting together and it's causing clots in the pipes and some more shit, honey. Baby, honey, in the slave quarters down here, honey, the sink is finally fixed. I can use my sink. Thank you, Lord, honey. But yes, again, I have been living in slave quarters for the past couple of years. That's why I have been limiting everyone's visibility of my living situation, honey. So what's really bringing me the most euphoria? I'm moving up out of this motherfucker, honey. I'm getting the fuck up out the motherfucking slave cabin, bitch. When I tell you she is raising up out of the shack, honey, it's bringing me euphoria. I'm getting the fuck up out of here. Honey, I'm finally at a place where it is time to go. Honey, I have stayed my lease up. Honey, I have already started moving shit. As we continue recording, the background will continue to change for those who watch us visually. Baby, ain't no telling what it's giving, honey. I got equipment, I got a desk. I'm excited about the future of my content creating. I'm excited about my future in general. This is causing me extreme euphoria, and it is boosting my wellness and my mental wellness and all of the things. Um, Praise the Lord. Honey, what's bringing you euphoria, Zama?
Oh gosh. So this might be controversial, but do y'all like Stevie Wonder?
His music, yeah, he's one of my favorite male musicians
Lord,
of all time.
oh, Lord, what happened?
No, I'm saying, do y'all like him? Do you like Stevie Wonder?
Yeah,
I do.
Stevie. Yeah,
So I
Stevie.
I love what I like about Stevie Wonder is I like Stevie Wonder's songwriting, but I do not like Stevie Wonder's voice. And that's kind of controversial. That might be controversial to people.
Blasphemy or blasphemy on the line to the Negro people. Blasphemy.
So, yeah,
He's
I think
the
his
one.
songs are beautiful, but he just has one of those voices. It's kind of like Charlie Wilson. I feel the same way about Charlie Wilson too. Charlie Wilson's voice kind of annoys
Too
me.
nasally for you.
It's that they do. It's kind of like Tasha Scott's, where they be doing too much run sometimes. To me, it's too
Stevie
much. And I'm
Wonder.
somebody who I like running. Now listen, that's it kind of annoys me. Like but because I'm a songwriter,
No, Stevie Wonder, dude. Like, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you for it, but he when you said, I had to think. I was like, he do be running.
No, I want us to be able to analyze your euphoria because I want to understand the joy in this
I'm
I'm
about
Stevie
to,
thinking about
Wonder black
boy.
man.
I'm
So
setting it up.
it's the runs for you. It's the runs.
I like runners, but I like runner a certain way. I like runners who do it with
Track stars.
I like with you got to have some finesse with the running to me. So and sometimes you just do too much. It's kind of like Tasha Scott. It's kind of like Charlie Wilson. It's not that I think they can't sing. Of course they can sing, but it's just my particular taste. I don't really like the tone of their voice that much.
Do you feel that way about Fantasia? I think she's better.
Yes. I like Fantasia's recording voice. I actually don't like her live voice as much as I like her on in the studio. Like
Look at
her
me.
studio songs are love. But yeah,
So,
that's a good example. Some people's voices I just don't
so
I don't like their voice. It's similar to like if I compare Tamar Braxton and Tony Braxton. Technically, I think Tamar
we're
can
over this unctie conversation. Briso over this unctie conversation.
No, I'm trying
listen.
to get my face out the camera so that they know that I'm not approving this message.
I
So
know.
I like Tony Braxton's voice more, her tone more than Tamar Braxton. But I know technically as a singer, Tamar Braxton can has more range and has more technical skill than Toni Braxton. So, but I like Toni Braxton's voice better than Tamar's. So that's what I mean. It's like certain people's voice.
I do. I feel
Breathe again. You like that, people?
I like alto voice. I like the Anita Bakers, the low tones. I like their voice, female voices. So why I say that? Because I literally there are certain albums like I have Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life. We know that classic album. I have that album, but there are albums where usually the obscure ones. Sometimes people aren't always at their peak. Sometimes, like Beyonce, her least selling album was Four. The rest of them sold big, blah blah blah. So Four was her least commercially successful album, but that album is my favorite Beyonce album, Four. So I was listening to this interview with Marcus Miller. Marcus Miller is a American bassist. He plays the guitar bass, and he wrote like "Doing the Butt" for Spike Lee's soundtrack. He wrote he produced and did a lot of work with Luther Vandross. Some of Luther like "Never Too Much, Never Too Much." He did the bass on that and helped do it. So he's just a classic American bassist. His name is Marcus Miller. He was doing an interview with Sean Stockton from Boys and Men, a podcast. They have like a musical podcast, and he was talking about, and Sean Stockton started talking about this album of Stevie Wonder's that is called The Secret Life of Plants. And it didn't have a lot of hits on it. It didn't have a lot of hits. It wasn't one of his most successful albums. So I went and listened to it. And it is I see why it wasn't as popular as his other stuff, because it wasn't a lot of singy songy stuff on there. It was a lot of instrumentation because it was actually a soundtrack for a nature documentary. It was like a documentary about plants, about this French guy hired Stevie Wonder to do an album, to do the soundtrack for the documentary about plants. So Stevie did a musical album called The Secret Lives of Plants. But there is one song on there that does, well, not one. I think it's like 3 or 4. I can't remember exactly. But there's one song that Stevie Wonder starts singing, and I did not know it was him because his voice sounds so different in this moment in time. And I started listening to it. It almost sounds femme, almost like a woman. It sounds so femme, and it sounds so beautiful. And it just was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. And so it is called Power Flower. And it came out in 1979, and he was 28 years old, and his voice just sounds different, more unique than I'm used to hearing him sing. And it might not sound different to other people, but it sounds different to me. And this was just a beautiful song. And the song is about Pan, the Greek god of the wild. And it just was a beautiful song to me. And it wasn't like one of his number one hits, da 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 da. So that song, Power Flower by Stevie Wonder, and the whole album was really good. The whole album called The Secret Life of Plants brought me Euphoria this week, because that is one of the first songs that I heard from Stevie Wonder. I love his songwriting, but where his voice was like, oh my God, he sounds so good on this song compared to when I hear other songs where I'm like, I like the song, but I wish somebody else was singing this. Because it's a beautiful song. But yeah, so that's what's brought me Euphoria this week. The Stevie Wonder album and that particular song, Power Flower. So yes, that's my Euphoria.
Okay.
Hey, like right now we just saw 300,000 Black women lose jobs. There's disproportionately, that's a lot of Black transmasculine people, because a lot of Black transmasculine people transition after they started working in some shit as Black women and everything you navigated. So I think it's important that we're a part of that conversation, because a lot of these cuts are disproportionately going to impact Black people. Like 300,000 Black women losing their jobs is a lot of Black trans men and transmasculine people disproportionately caught up in that shit. And nobody's even bringing that shit up. So that's kind of what I mean around like everybody got their brick. I feel like part of my brick is to be in those rooms and be like, yo, like, we're part of that conversation, because we do need to acknowledge that to make sure we can get the support. Cis gay people, straight people, cis people, mutual aid for Black trans people. Like, I need folks to, like, that's because the shit is real. So like, so that's just what was underneath that for me.
All right. Well, let us know what's bringing y'all euphoria this week. And yeah, we'll see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.
I'll see you later, honey. I'll see you later.
Love y'all.
Bye. The best way to support is to engage with the content. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Another way to support, if you got a couple of dollars, become a patron. And if you can't do any of that, you can at least follow us on social media, where you'll get our random hot takes and just us sharing all the people and things that we love that is Black, trans, queer, centered. Yeah, come check us out.